Miles threw a baseball at me.
Oh my God!
In my face.
You can't catch.
2 days before we started.
Catches a baseball with their
They
face.
got a
It was like the
black
craziest thing.
Did you get a black guy?
I got a black eye 3 days before we started.
Well, because you see in the trailer, like his character hits a baseball, you know, baseball's the thing, and Jamie had never played baseball. So I was like, yeah, let's go play catch, and then I gave him a black eye. The producer's like, you can't do physical sports with Jamie.
You threw it rather enthusiastically.
He's
You threw it enthusiastically.
So could you tell us a little bit about the story then?
Storyline?
Yeah.
It's more of an origin story, you know. So you kind of find these characters all in their own individual kind of lives, and you know, I guess fate or whatever you want to call it, kind of brings us four together, and you kind of see them kind of, you know, grow, and overcome obstacles, you know, different adversaries and stuff like that throughout the project.
How much did you know about the Fantastic Four before you got the part?
I mean, I was definitely aware of it. I'm not a comic book fanatic or anything, but I was aware of them.
Were you gonna say nerd?
No.
Geek?
No?
Good. Those are offensive words.
Okay. No. But I mean, I think everyone is aware of them to a degree. I mean, they're so mythological, these characters. They're so special. And I think the fact that they were, you know, considered the first family of comics, you know, that kind of heritage of it, yeah, especially when we're trying to do like a contemporary kind of reimagining of that idea of what family is. When Josh Trank came, I think, to all of us and kind of spelled that out very specifically, his vision and his tone, I was really excited to see how that 1961 comic could then be a 2015 movie and the idea of what family is. So I was excited about it.
Were you guys fans of comics or superheroes growing up?
I've always been a massive fan of comic book films. I'm always there opening night, whatever the story is. But I wasn't really familiar with comic books per se. I mean, now I definitely am. But I've always been a fan of the film versions of comic books.
Miles?
I think I collected comic books at one point in my life because I just thought that was a phase I had to go through as a boy, was to like collect comic books, but I didn't really, Pog, you know, it was more of a collectible thing. I really didn't get much out of you know, like reading them. That format didn't really speak to me, but I actually really dug when they were converted into video games. I always loved the comic book video games, like the X-Men one at the arcade specifically. Any of the Marvel vs. Capcom ones were sick. So yeah, but it was kind of cool actually. My dad, once I was cast, he revealed to me that when he was my age, Fantastic Four was his favorite comic book. You know, he was a big Fantastic Four fan, so that's got to be kind of trippy, man, that now at age 60 your son is playing this character that you grew up with your whole life.
Can you talk a little bit about what you thought when you first saw the costume, and how it felt when you first put it on, and how it informed how you played your characters?
I thought it would have more blue in it. My costume was not terribly comfortable. It had a lot of, as you see, you know, it's got a lot of things going on to help me out, but it's really like there's plastic cords and things, and yeah, doing stunts or running and that's never that comfortable. And those space suits we were in took a while to kind of get those to a point where we could hear the director properly. We could have have proper air conditioning in them, and so there was almost like a beta version of those spacesuits we went with at first. That was kind of difficult. I think your costume's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I love my costume. It was pretty snug, but it was cool.
Well, because you kept getting stronger and more muscles, so your suit kept getting like tighter and tighter. Yeah,
but it was cool.
Fantastic Four seems to be pretty unique in that all of your characters, the superhero or the powers, come from the same incident or accident. And I'm wondering, you know, apart from maybe a plot line dealing with a villain, how much of the film maybe has a chance to kind of delve into your character's individual responses to that?
I think it focuses on that stuff very much so. You know, as four outsiders, you know, who all kind of experience this collective thing together, this event, and they travel to this very extreme and dangerous, exciting new universe, and have this accident, this kind of thing that transforms them. They're going to have all these abilities all of a sudden. I think the film does focus on people dealing with that, overcoming those problems, focusing their energies and turning those, affectations that happen to them into powers, harnessing them for good, harnessing them collectively as a four. I think the film very much focuses on the problems that come with that and how they harness it and come together as a team.
Chris Evans did the last Fantastic Four, and now he's in Avengers as Captain America. So if you could, guys, choose a superhero to play, 10 years from now, who would that be?
Batman, hands down. Batman. All of it.
I'd like to play Robin.
Awesome. Is Robin really a superhero? Like, he doesn't have his own film for a reason. He's such a complimentary, kind of like codependent character. That's cool.
I don't know. Let's stop listening.
I would be Thor, yeah.
Thor?
For sure. Yeah, dude. Are you kidding me? I would be just jacked and like, I love the hammer. It's the best.
Right? Yeah.
Always comes back.
Superman, hands down.
Were there any special skills that you had to learn for this other than just getting in really good shape?
They put me on stilts, a kind of version of stilts, because obviously my character is much larger than I am. So just for reference for the rest of the actors, when they were looking at me, I had to kind of walk on these stilts, which eventually made me 6'8" or something. So that was kind of intense. And a lot of the time, the terrain that you're walking on, the studio floor is kind of tricky. So that was kind of testing at times.
And we had to there were a few different moments in the film where we're flying or just sort of, well, you were doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
But, feeling comfortable and looking like you know what you're doing. That took a little bit of figuring out, a little bit of training with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, CGI comes into a certain point with all these powers because you can only do so much. But in terms of the initial starting the power, whether it's like, it's on me starting to stretch, or, and so you have to really kind of figure out what that feels like, because even though maybe it's CGI for the arm, it's on your face, and so really it's just kind of, or if I need to stretch my arm and I'm going like around this table to like unlock something, you got to. It is a lot of visual because you're having to kind of see what's happening before, without any real reference. You're just kind of wondering if this was really happening to me. How would that feel? How would I sling my arm as opposed to make it go slowly? How would I? So there is a good amount of physics involved there.
It does take a lot of imagination also, trying to figure that out, what's the most honest way of creating a force field for flying or, So, I mean, being an actor, you use your imagination constantly, but for this, I thought it was even more so.
I think you have it down in the trailer.
Thanks, Miles.
And
So your casting has been billed as the ensemble of the breakout stars of the past few years coming up on the future, like the big A-listers of Hollywood. Do you feel that?
Absolutely. I think I speak for all of us.
Does not speak for all of us, ever.
and so,
Well,
No, just
do you want to talk? I was very excited by the cast. I think that is something that is, it's wonderful to be able to be with these guys and hopefully make these films for many years. But I think the casting of it, yes, by far was one of the most interesting, parts about it. And I think it's exciting. I don't think people saw us individually as these characters at all. But yeah, they went out and they wanted to cast actors maybe that had a footing in dramatic acting, and I think that served us well, especially for the story that we were telling.
Michael, I wanted to ask you, how often did you work on the phrase "flame on"? How did you get that in the character?
Oh man, not often, not a lot at all. It was just one of those things because Johnny never really had to practice it because he didn't know he was going to get powers, So we kind of wanted to be as real as possible and kind of make it as grounded as I could. So not as many times as people would think.
But people will be yelling that at you for the rest of your life. My big flame on! Hey. Okay.
who was the funniest of you, and who made you
miss the lines or skip lines?
Who's more of a distraction on set?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Miles.
Miles by far.
Isn't
But in
that
a-
obvious?
But in a loving
way.
Yeah.
I think you have to have fun.
So
Were
being
there any practical jokes?
No.
So that is yes.
Unfortunately. No.
No, but it was a pretty light-hearted set.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of us are real like pranksters, you know. But you just try and keep it fun.
So, as actors, how do you guys deal with all the negative fan reaction that this movie has received so far? And what can you say to those fans who are a little like distrustful to make them think, hey, this is going to be amazing?
The great thing about it is that we feel that the trailer so far speaks for itself. Obviously, there's a lot of expectation, and people want to see a great film and are very passionate about these characters and the story. So I think the best thing to do is just let the film speak for itself.
I absorb it all the negative stuff people say. I see every hateful thing people write to me on Twitter because I check it, and I take it in. It does affect me.
Do you guys see the other superhero films as competition, or do you think, for this season I mean, or do you think that in the end the audience they're gonna see them all?
I think the more people see superhero films, the better chance of them wanting to see all superhero films.
Are sequels coming?
Are the sequels coming? Is that what you said? We hope so. Do we
hope.
know for sure?
No, no, for sure.
We don't know for sure.
I mean, they have it scheduled out. Yeah, they have. I go online. They say the second one's going to come out, whatever it is, summer,
Yeah.
2017. That is the goal. I think we'd all be disappointed if these characters ended
Yeah.
at the end of this film. We absolutely have the bigger things to come for these guys.
Michael, you'd worked with Josh Trank before. What was it like? I mean, if you can compare the experience on Chronicle with a much bigger canvas on this film.
Yeah, Josh is a great director. Really understands and knows exactly what he wants. Chronicle was it felt like an independent film. We shot it so fast. Limited takes, and when you move to a bigger budget film, the pace is dramatically slower. So honestly, just the pace, and for him, I think being able to command a much bigger set, crews, much bigger. Just the scale of the project was much larger than Chronicle. So honestly, when you build a relationship with the director, you want to keep that. It just grows from project to project. So the chemistry was definitely there, and the communication between all of us and the director was there, and it made for a good experience.
You guys probably did a lot of one-ers on Chronicle.
There's a lot of
handheld one-ers.
for sure. And we brought some of that, to Fantastic Four as well. Same DP, and Josh used a lot of the same familiar pieces that he did on Chronicle.
did familiarity make your job easier?
Yeah, I think that relationship between director and actor is very important, especially communication. So, the more you know somebody on the offset, I think it just makes it easier to work with them on set.
Since this film was announced, I
we
wanted
just have time for one more question, so that's.
have any of you run into Chris or Jessica or any of the
Chris is a friend of mine, and he's, I think, super excited about the movie. I think that the direction that he's taken, that Josh specifically has taken it, I think is exciting for him.
Did you have any advice on
I don't know, because that's Michael's character. He had nothing for me, but
Yeah.
maybe for Michael.
I met him a couple times, and he's a cool guy, but he's just super excited. He said, look, I said, even if I wanted to give you advice, I couldn't. Just do your thing and enjoy it. You'll be fine. So that was pretty comforting to hear.
I haven't seen Jessica for a couple of years now, but she always just wishes me the best.
Thank you guys so much. And if you guys don't mind, do you guys mind just